Hey guys, today we'll be analysing a fun game between Arjun and Erigaisi against Magnus Carlsen from the Aimchess Rapid knockout. In the preliminaries, actually, Erigaisi had beaten Carlsen in an individual game, so you know that Carlsen was looking for revenge, and he decided to go for the Taimanov Sicilian with queen to c7, saying that knight d5 is not really a problem because you can kick the knight back anyway. And again, white goes for g3, just very positional, very safe system. I could certainly put the bishop on e2 as well for also a very classical approach. We had knight h6 castles, and if one wants to really unbalance the game, you'll sometimes see some players play h5, h4, and use g3 as a hook. Of course, I can't promise, that it's 100% safe, but to make an omelet, you've got to break some eggs. Well, in the game, Carlsen went for the most solid continuation, take, bishop c5. And just as you're thinking, okay, the queen moves because it's under attack, Erigaisi plays bishop to d4, f4 instead, saying that if the queens were to be traded, well, then there are some weaknesses on the dark squares that there's something you have to keep an eye out for in the Taimanov. After d6, white played queen e2, we had to move h6, so that after rook e1, e5, there's no bishop g5 to just completely dominate the d5 square. Now, after bishop e3, this is actually kind of a fun position in a way, because back when I was looking at these positions, say in the kind of like pre-computer era of sorts, well, what I learned is that the move you play here is bishop to e6. You take and d takes c5, and you get this sort of position with knight d5 where white's got the passed pawn and the bishop sort of supporting it, and black tries to blockade it. But then one engine sort of show that white does get some annoying pressure down the e file, and it's a little bit unpleasant for black. So Carlsen comes up with this move bishop e3, which used to be considered to be quite a big mistake actually in this position. And yet it's sort of interesting to me that neither player sort of played the best move. Like, first of all, bishop e3 was not the best move for black, but then white also didn't play the best reply. So in a game, white took with the queen and black was doing very well. But I was playing through it, I was like, hang on, can't white just play f takes e3 and just go after this pawn here? And indeed, this is actually going to be quite strong for white. Fun little puzzle, what happens if black does play king to e7. Let me know what you'd play here in the comments below. It's move 15 for white. And I will let you know at the end of the video the solution so you can see whether you got it right. Also a good moment to let you guys know that you can definitely subscribe to the channel for more videos like it. Only one mouse click. So queen takes e3, bishop e6 was played, and after rook d2, Carlsen played this sort of funny move of king e7. Looks a bit weird, but the king is actually reasonably safe in the center here. White could play a move like f4 to try to go after it. In the game, white went rook d1, rook d8, and then played f4. And in these positions, you sort of don't really want to take because it kind of just helps them to take over the center. You'd much rather that they take you, because then you keep your pawn in the center, their e-pawn's isolated, the bishop is just hitting the traitor pawn on e4. And black can definitely be quite happy in a position like this. Say if knight d5, again take, and as long as you keep that pawn on e5 under the tabs, you're basically going to be all right here. Instead, white played the move f5, and from here we have a Carlsen masterclass just showing how to outplay the opponent in these Sicilian structures when I have pushed the pawn to f5. Like, f5 is a little bit committal, right? Now white's really banking on the kingside play, but it's not really looking anywhere close. And with queen c5, we see it when white's stuck with a bad bishop and a potential backward pawn on e4, that the exchange of pieces is going to be in black's favor. Okay, I guess also because our king is in the center, so king's ready in prime position for the endgame. And when you don't know what to do, you should start pushing pawns to grab space. And we see Carlsen doing that here. Of course, Carlsen didn't know what to do, but just saying for argument's sake. So after b4, you might be wondering what if white plays the move knight a4 to attack the queen. But then queen a5, b3 is the only move to defend the knight, but only a temporary measure because the knight is under fire. And after knight b2, yeah, we can take the pawn with impunity, run away with our booty, and collect the harvest from there. So a common theme you see actually in the Sicilian, the open Sicilian, is that this pawn majority can often be a weakness for white, and here you can actually grab a free pawn. For those of you thinking that Carlsen did a Fischer and got his own bishop track with b3, Actually, you can just take it and use the pin on the C file to win even more material. So Erigaisi tries something tricky, c4. They're hoping that black will actually suicide the bishop, but bishop b3 was played instead. Knight e3, bishop a4, rook a1, bishop c6. And I mean, in any sort of position, you're just playing the happy moves as black, saying material's equal, but your bishop sucks, your e4 pawn is weak, your knight is just on guard duty, and the major pieces look like they're on vacation. And when white plays knight d5, on the one hand, it's a mistake, but on the other hand, if you let black just kind of get in with a piece like rook a2 and attack this pawn and split up the white structure, like sooner or later, something's going to give, like e4 is going to fall, or b2 is going to fall, or c4 will fall. It's not like you're trying to like hold the hands of like 5 children at once, and like they're refusing to hold hands together, and you only have 2 hands to use. Anyway, knight d5 was played, and yeah, at this point, the knight totally dominates the bishop in the long term. It's funny, it dominates without even like being in the attack yet. Just sits there on f6, just poking fun at the bishop. So rook c8 was played, taking over that nice c file. And of course, Carlsen studied Soviet classics, so he knows the principle of fixing the weaknesses in place. If this had been one of my group coaching lessons, I would have set this as a nice little exercise to test your technical skill. By the way, if you want to apply for the program, you can always check out the link in the description below. It's totally free to apply, by the way. After king g2, queen b4, queen e3, rook to c2. So if white takes, we're getting that nice pass pawn that is only 1 square from queening. Rook e2, queen c4. We don't have to be a queen a7 check. We just block with the knight, and white has nothing. And after rook f2, queen d4, black, in a rather creative way, is able to get that passed pawn. Also gets a very nice square on e5 for the knights, which Carlsen actually does not avail in the game, and the reason is that he comes up with an even better idea. First of d3, where you can't even take the rook to support the queen. And after king e1, knight c5, yeah, we see the knight is going for bigger fish to fry than just a beautiful outpost. f6. Let's see how the game concluded, because at this point, I mean, white is basically waiting for the executioner's axe to fall. f5 is a kind of nice move, like knight e4, rook d3 might let white struggle on a little bit, because in some cases you might actually be threatening to take the black pieces, as it were. But instead of all of that, black played f5, and yeah, just king f6 penetrating with the king. It's not like white can move a muscle anyway if we just keep everything under control here. h4, king f4, and after g5, black doesn't even take the pawns, but just goes king e3 just to kill the white king like this. By the way, if white does play a move like g takes h6, they'll kind of lose in a similar way to what we'll see in the game, where in the game after g6, very fun finish, where after gf7, rook f2, white resigned because he's going to get mated with d2 equals queen. Well, rather, after f8 equals queen with d2 mate. Even better than promoting the pawn or queen is giving checkmate. And if white moves the bishop, it doesn't really change anything, because let's say if they play bishop to g4 or something like this, then yeah, d2 is still a mating threat, as we see here. So a very smooth win by Carlsen. It goes to show that by studying Carlsen's games, it really just gives you a model for how to play different positions. That being said, we do go back to the puzzle where I did mention that after bishop e6 at f takes e3 would give white an advantage. And the reason is because of this puzzle after king e7. Now, if black would play bishop e6 and get the rook on the c file, then yeah, black is just strategically doing quite well, because white's structure kind of sucks. But pawn structure doesn't matter when you're winning a piece with rook takes f6. Setting up a juicy knight d5 fork if black takes rook either way. Otherwise, you just grabbed a free piece. To be fair, maybe Carlsen's idea was to play bishop e6 and kind of just sacrifice the pawn, but getting some kind of long-term compensation. Personally, I'm not too convinced saying white should still be better, but maybe this was Carlsen's idea, trying to play some positional pawn sack to hold a draw. Because you figure, okay, I lost Erigaisi before, let's not lose to him a second time, or something like this. Well, he didn't. He ended up just beating him as such. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I mean, I guess you wouldn't have gone to the end if you weren't enjoying it, right? And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.